Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Blessings to all of you. So there was a question coming to me that um, one brother asking, how is this relationship between the pain body that Eckhart Tolle, for example, talks about it, and to the view in Sufism? No? So in fact, there is a very strong relationship, and we can say the body, the pain body is what it is called, the Karin in our tradition. No? So the Karin is described as a kind of entity that lives in us and is dormant, yeah, and comes up with its demonic attributes, with its demonic qualities, um, from time to time, no? And it causes us pain, and that is why it is correct to call it also the pain body. No, it is based on pain in itself, on fears, on projections, on wounds that we carry. All this is the body of what is said to be the Karin. And in the tradition, it is like this, that the Karin of the man is female and the Karin of the woman is male. Yeah. This is an interesting aspect, because when a man, his Karin becomes active, and he has heard about it, that the Karin in the man is female, he can really see that. Yeah. He talks different, he talks more like a woman will talk. And this is a very interesting aspect, right? Because like this, a woman can see, yeah, what is going on, no? And a man as well can see, of course, when the woman speaks from the male Karin, no? And in this way, both have the feeling that they see the other, no? And through this, we create projections, no? Because you see, the Karin needs to project, yeah. That's actually his function. It needs to project all the things that he cannot hold inside and see inside to somebody else. No, this is this unconscious wish to know yourself. When you know that, yeah, when you know that this is happening, you also understand what is needed, yeah, as an act from our side, and that means we need to understand what we project. And then we have to take those projections back, no? Because these projections, they can be also positive, but they're actually never really positive, because a positive, so-called positive projection would that we overhide the other one. For example, that we give uh, too much admiration, for example. Yeah. And admiration is not something really healthy. Yeah. It is part of the ego. Yeah. And it means that we are not capable to give ourselves enough honor, enough value, enough strength, enough courage, and all these things. So we project it on someone that embodies that for us. No? And in the projections, of course, is also the expectation, yeah, about the other. Now, that we expect from the other to change something which actually belongs to us. Yeah. And because we cannot see it, it comes to these fighting situations, now where we blame the other, yeah, these conflicting situations, where we blame the other and the other one blames reacts and blames back in a way, no? And when you see it, when you can acknowledge that you do that, no, and you understand from where it comes, what you project, for example, very often we project the mother on it in our intimate relationships, no. So we project the mother when we are a man, and the woman usually projects the father, no. Yeah. And when both can see that, then a healing can happen, you know, and the couple becomes kind of healed from the illusions that it has, that it forms, especially in the beginning. There we project all the good things now to each other, yeah, in a complete overheated way, no. And when these projections break down, then this is the first crisis in the couple, no. And we have to learn and to understand what we project, no, to the other. So in the language of Eckhart Tolle, it would be that we project the pain body, yeah, to the other, that reacts then with his pain body or her pain body to us. No? But I think that in Sufism, somehow the understanding is more deep. It is more detailed. It's clearer, you know. And it, in the word Kareen, is this shaitanic element, this devilish element in it. Yeah? The ego that is clearly an enemy, yeah, to ourselves. No? And that is why we need to be, to not only to understand and loving ourselves. Yeah. Yes, we need to love ourselves, but the way that love is expressed to ourselves is not always kind. Yeah, it's not always soft. It cannot be like this. There must be sometimes a strictness towards ourselves, no? A restriction, a limitation about things, no? And this we practice through controlling our tongue, no, controlling our senses, and so on, to get the strength, to reach the strength that we have the courage to see, no, to see what we are doing, and not to crackle down again in that and say, oh, I'm so bad, I'm so miserable, and this and that. Yes, in the beginning that can be a healthy thing to do, yeah, but the more advanced way to deal with this is simply that we first acknowledge it, we accept it, and we agree. Yeah, not we defend, we justify, but we agree with the depth of our being that it is like this. No, and then the healing can happen. No, otherwise it stays in the mental world. No. And the mind starts to discuss it internally and doesn't really reach to the point where he has to go. You know? So it is a hard training to do that. And most people think that a spiritual path is always just going up, 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 up. But actually, the first step is what we call involution. That means we have to return. We have to return to our real self, and this is painful. Yeah, it's a very painful process because we get dismantled, we get disillusioned. Yeah, we get frustrated, we get disappointed, sad, depressed. It can happen many things on this path, especially if you're not conscious about it. You know, people that are usually very true with themselves, but are not understanding what happens inside of them, they reach depression. And this is one of the biggest mental conflicts people have nowadays. You know, we can almost say that 99% of all people live in a permanent depression, you know, not in a pathological depression, not in a clinical depression necessarily, but definitely in a sort of depression. Yeah, we call it the background depression, that is always there in a way. So the way to a higher state of being is to go through all that things and bring these projections back to you. So we have to somehow tame this Karim. We have to somehow submit him to our higher will, to our noble intentions. And this is basically what it is called in Sufism, jihad al-nafs. The big effort against the ego. And it's a battle. It is not just like the New Age wants to tell us, I see your potential and everything will be fine. You will not be able to see your potential if you don't go there first. And so the way is first down, in a way, into the cellar, into the unconscious, into the fears, and so on and so on. And then when that is done, and the self is not anymore layered by the Karim, not anymore layered by these states of nafs, it's called in Sufism, then the evolution will start. And this is what will happen, what has to happen now with more and more people. We are exactly in this time where we all have to do this process if we want to have a future as a humanity. I am still positive that we can do it, even it looks worse and worse almost day by day, but it first has to come to a certain bottom, to a certain point where everyone, or at least a big number of people, see what is actually what we actually do and what is our part in it. Now it is, if the projection, for example, on a political level would be that we always think to our leaders, we always make them responsible, because we want to see them greater than us. But they are just normal people, and they get something thrown on them which they are not able to carry it, as they are not trained, as they are not really evolved. So by default, if we do that, it will be always a continuous disappointment. And of course, also we will find out that the way we are acting in our so-called democracy is not really beneficial for us. We have to come back to a point that we do not elect people just because they want to be elected, and they don't really have any reference, because the profession of a profession, the profession of a politic is no profession. They don't need any profession, right? You can be anybody. And that happens. So an actor can become the president of America, and this is not really a good choice. It should be elected according people's skills. The best should be questioned, to think about economy, to think about ethics, to think about how things have to be decided. Not people who just have an over-attuned ego that they think they can, but actually have no clue of things, right? So It will come to that point. It has to come to that point. No. If you would have simply asked military experts, for example, in the conflict of Ukraine and Russia, every military person would have said from the very beginning, the war cannot be won by Ukraine against a power like Russia. And now it shows more and more that this is the reality, but military experts knew that from the very beginning. It's just logic. It's just numbers. It is just knowing about how military conflicts work. Yeah. So unless we are not sending troops into Ukraine and spend literally billions on bringing God knows what kind of weapons into it, and of course we did all the risk, all the probable consequences that this would have, we need to find another solution. Yeah. And war is not just, it's not fair. Yeah. The stronger one wins. That has been always like that. And we are now coming to a reality check. No? And this is the same in the spiritual path. So everything is connected. You see, this is why I'm not wanting to talk about politics really, but we have to understand that everything is connected. No? And we're coming now, definitely, to a turning point, and each one of us has to do his work. No? That is what it is needed now. And the more people do that as good they can, the better it is. And this is our chance. There is no other. Yeah. Each one of us has to do the work. So may Allah bless all of you and your homes, your families, and makes you successful in all your life affairs and protects you from evil and makes you to be surrounded by good people, by good energies. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.